fast forward 6 years, as 83, you're on Letterman and all that stuff, but what happened from 77 to 83?
Wow. By the time 1979 came around, I was already getting much better. I had evolved the backspin from spinning maybe 2 times, 3 times around, and if you're small enough, you spun more, but I added a whipping motion with my leg, and because of the plant, I added the plant that you would do in the chair freeze and a way to whip around. And it informed created what's called the whip backspin, where you could whip your legs around and then ball up and then spin faster and spin more. And that was the beginning of power.
And you just came up with that when you were practicing one day?
Accident, complete accident. I was actually, I over-rotated when I was going into a chair freeze, and it was on Crotona Avenue. And when I was practicing in this small hallway, and I went into that move, when I over-rotated, I didn't want my feet to hit the sides of the walls. So I balled up immediately. Didn't realize what I was doing, because it was more defensive and trying to protect myself, and my cousin was like, oh shit, do that again. I was like, oh, do what? And he helped me to realize that I was onto something. And then that eventually evolved into what people call the windmill, but originally called the continuous backspin.
Right. And you're practicing in a hallway?
A hallway, yeah, tenement building.
Okay, would you put cardboard down, or was
No, cardboard didn't start
later.
until like we started hanging out in Manhattan, and we would hang out in what is now known as Rocksteady Park, and we would hang out in the back of the park where there were swings, and the rubber mats were under the swings for protection in case you fell off. But right next door to Rocksteady Park was also an appliance store, and we would take those boxes that were thrown out on the side of the building and put them in the back of the park under the swings, because number one, some of that black mat would get really hot, and it would kind of, I guess, break up into little pieces because of the wear and tear, and you get that on your clothes and you get dirty. So we would start putting that there just for practicing. But when it came down to us breaking and battling, we didn't walk around with cardboard. It's just like concrete, wherever. If you had a building, a wood floor, tiles, cement, it didn't matter. We didn't walk around with anything like that. That's just a whole misconception about, you know, how we got down.
You just get down on the concrete, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, eventually people did start using cardboard, but we weren't about that. We were more the raw B-boys who were just like, let's go right here, right now.
Okay. It's crazy, because the last 12 months, I've been trying to get the windmill, right? And I've been banging my head, trying to get it, getting so frustrated. And finally, like, I kind of got it, and now I'm trying to perfect it. But the reason I'm doing that is because of something you did in a hallway in Crotona Avenue.
By accident.
By accident, almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And now, me over here in London, I'm trying to copy that meme and that move. Does that ever blow your mind when you think about that?
Yeah, it does. There was a point when I started dancing or being a lot more active again in the 90s or late 80s. My friend Jerry Fontanez, AKA Fast Feet, he was a light heavyweight champ in kickboxing, and he was also a hip hop enthusiast, grew up in the Bronx. He was like, yo, legs, rock steady for the 90s. I was like, oh, no. I don't know. So anyway, he convinced me to do it. But as that started happening, and I realized there were some other people out there who were still breaking, and they wanted to battle, but they were doing my moves. I'm like, yo, but why do I want to battle these guys? It's like, they're doing my moves. What's going on? They want to battle me with my moves. And he told me, your legs, you have to understand, you created something that went around the world. You did something that people want to emulate around the world. You need to take pride in that. And it was the first time that I looked at it like, wow, okay, yeah. I really had an effect on the world where people want to do this move. So I learned to appreciate that.
Different perspective.
Yeah,
because when you and Ken were on Letterman, I think either Ken Swift or you both said, yeah, people are stealing our moves.
Yeah.
So I guess in the beginning, you're like, wait a second, that's mine. But,
well, the thing is with stealing moves, it was legal back then, but since there were so few moves, it was very obvious that someone was stealing your move. So what you wanted to do is steal a move and then recreate it so that people can look at it and say, oh yeah, that's the Jimmy D swipes, or that's just the crazy legs backspin. There was something significant about it that identified you with the person, as opposed to kind of like blatantly just doing something. But then you have to realize that if it's done widely enough, it just becomes part of the vocabulary of the foundation. And then you just have to submit and take pride that you contributed to the foundation of the dance.
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, learn from the best minds in the world, and connect with a community of passionate people building the best versions of themselves. Just click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.